Most people feel that the community could sustain more theaters, and of course theaters bring nightlife in, and nightlife keeps the streets alive, and keeping the streets alive prevents them from being empty, which translates into dangerous. So this is a great idea. We, of course, would once a year probably host a Disney Film Festival and turn it into a great gala event, but most of the time this would be, we hope, the finest theater recently built in California, at least, if not the United States, and obviously we could probably do that because it's sort of what we do, or we try to. As well as that, we've got great dining possibilities here, again following this movie theme, pulling from the mythology of MGM and the mythology of Disney, and possibly relating to other studios as well, depending on their willingness to become involved in this sort of collective idea. This is the Star Quality Diner, and it's filled with memorabilia, actual things that you can get up close to and look at that relate to the entire, almost getting now on towards 100 years of film history. Upstairs from this is a place where kids can crawl around and have fun, the catwalks, and up there they serve funny drinks, and you can look down into the restaurant and watch people walking back and forth and get somewhat of the sensation of what it must be like to be up high on the catwalks above a soundstage. Speaking of soundstage, another restaurant that relates to this is called the Soundstage Restaurant. The Soundstage Restaurant is meant to be a place to go with your family to sit in a wonderful environment, again drawn from the mythologies of the two studios involved in this project. And this is where Mickey Mouse lives. This is where the characters have their character breakfasts, where you can bring your family, you can have a birthday with Mickey Mouse and Goofy. It's kept in an environment that's very theatrical, very entertaining when nothing is happening, but when it is a party hosted by Mickey Mouse or one of his friends, it becomes a very, very lively place, a very fun place to bring your kids. And that sort of event takes on a very celebrative atmosphere. We want to control that kind of event because, again, Mickey Mouse is something that you can't really integrate too terribly into what we hope to become the natural street energy of a real town. Now, another aspect of the movies that we're hoping to market and to bring a great deal of prominence to the project is our great moments at the movies, MGM, Disney. It is a ride. It's a ride about the romance of the great moments of classic films throughout history up until the present time. It actually transforms from a passive ride into an active adventure, and people are probably looking at this thinking, would you please explain this rendering? A man is being shot. Yes, I'm going to do that now because I don't want to leave you thinking that we're going to shoot guests. This man is a ride operator. It's okay. The whole idea here is that you take off on what appears to be sort of a normal Disney adventure where we're in charge and we're going to show you things and you don't get to do anything and nothing's going to happen to you. It's all going to happen out there. Your ride operator, however, is ambushed, and I think in the present version he's not shot, but he's ambushed and taken away, and a criminal takes your car and takes you on this rollicking adventure through all these movie sets, ultimately to be rescued and returned back to normal life. It's a great fun way to see some great sets from classic movies of the past. 3-camera video is a format that we use, again, to learn about video, which is going to be one of our media production facilities here enclosed in this area, and at the same time to provide a great deal of entertainment for people who are in the process of learning about that. In this case, guests are able to interact with the cameras and actually be involved in the production of fun films, videos actually, that are edited and made available for them to sort of keep. Also, another very, very big aspect of film today is special effects. We want to put the simulators in, somehow relating to the development of special effects. Now, again, I have to admit that the concept at this point is only gelling. The point of it being that the simulator ride would somehow relate to learning about the essence of special effects and what goes into making the final product and how you experience it. The simulators, for those of you who haven't been down to Disneyland and experienced them, are the most incredible thing in the world. They're just wonderful. The simulator is a very dry word for what this does. A simulator makes you believe that things are happening that can't possibly be happening, that you're flying in the air, falling, tumbling downstairs, traveling down a nice soft river. I mean, it can do nice things too. You don't have to jump all around. But the point of it being, it's a wonderful entertainment. It makes you feel as if you've been somewhere, and in fact, you've just been inside this moving box. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for us to use special effects and film technology and film mythology to give an experience to this small contained area that expands it out into essentially the entire world. For teens, we're trying to develop our Videopolis Dance Club into a larger venue that offers food and dancing with a lot of videos in a very, very highly designed, very nice environment, clean, with a kind of almost a science fiction twist to it. The Hollywood Fantasy Hotel is a wonderful place to visit. It's got its feet down in this canyon with the calm river that I hope to have trout in, and the trees and the shade, and the little bungalows and the birds that are going to come eat, and squirrels and what else, gopher snakes. All those things are going to live down there. And then as you rise up, eventually it's the crown of the entire project with this great dome up above it. Each floor is themed to a different classic movie film genre. Now, the one that I like the best is the film noir floor, where you walk down your floor, everything is like done in these silvery halftones, and there's Venetian blind streaks airbrushed onto the wall. The light kind of comes up from below, so you feel like you're walking around constantly in a Dmitrik movie. This could be real fun. I mean, you wouldn't want to spend 2 months there, but it's a great place to go for a while, to stay. It's a wonderful experience that takes you again into a whole imaginative world. Imaginative worlds is what our business is. I'm going to go back just for a second because there's something else that I really like that I have to tell you about. Up there on top is this big dome. In the dome is the right now we're calling it the Celestial Diner. Basically, it's the most romantic place to have a meal in the entire West. From the top of this dome, you have a view of the entire valley, the mountains all the way around it, on past Eagle Rock towards Pasadena, and out, towards Los Angeles. Of course, up above you, most days out of the year, is an ugly sky full of smog that usually looks kind of lavender, and you can't see any stars. Okay, fine. That's fine with us, because we're going to put a planetarium ceiling up there. And a planetarium ball is going to project a great sky up there every day of the year, while a chamber orchestra sits around the planetarium machine and plays great music. It's a wonderful place to go, and it's always very romantic, and you always have the view you want, but it never rains on you. It's sort of capturing a heavenly kind of quality to have your 10th anniversary dinner in. Now, it looks down the other direction across. The final thing is sort of the craziest end of this, a place where we've gotten now far away from the street and up towards where the entertainment is, where things are allowed to get a little looser, and that's the pier. Now, remember, we're trying to imagine that this is indeed a pier. In fact, it was once the tank to the movie set where they would put their little models and film all those things, and in fact, we're building it because there's not really anything out there. But we're imagining that this was once the special effects tank, and there's the painted sky right there that you film against. Oops, excuse me. And as you can see, the edge of this water blocks out the freeway, blocks out the industrial community. That's interesting. I'll try this again. As you look out at the setting sun, the lights of the city are coming up and reflecting in the water. The sun is setting, and to the person walking along this promenade, it appears that the sun is setting into the ocean, possibly with islands off in the distance, which in fact is Agura. Again, I gotta tell you, I think this is great. I love this idea. If you guys don't do it, I'm doing it in my backyard because I just love it. Okay. Obviously, when you talk about a pier and you talk about that kind of stuff, you've got to have the things that made those things famous. We want to have a fun house, but again, a fun house as only we can do it. A fun house that is really fun and full of surprises, and not like the one that you might encounter were you to go to one of these piers that really does exist right now, usually are infested with roaches or something terrible. Also bumper cars, but once again, as you can immediately see, not bumper cars as anybody else has done, but bumper cars with a difference. In this case, possibly bumper cars that are free to drive all over little bumper car freeways and bump into each other, do all the things you'd love to do on the freeway coming home. Only you get to do it in this little car, ram people, bump into light posts, and meanwhile you can go to like a tiny, tiny Nailers and get little tiny hamburgers. And it's all sort of done like the 50s. Okay, now you probably think, okay, now